What's up, guys? Heeking here, bringing you some potential new leaks regarding, the future of Resident Evil and RE9 in particular. So, this was random, okay? I was at work. I was going through my phone while I was on break, and then I came across this forum, right? This group forum. This was random, I'm telling you, and it was just there plain as day, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what? And it was this entire forum by this person, no name, just, and they were posting all these supposed leaks for RE9 and other games. And a lot of it sounded pretty much similar to what we heard from Spooky Who and DOS Gollum. So it's like, is this person taking stuff simply from them and posting it as his own? But no, this guy is literally saying that he is an actual leaker, that this stuff that he's posting is legit. And yeah, some of it sounds similar to what he's posted, to what DOS Gollum has posted, but because they actually have the same source, apparently. But there was some new stuff he added in that I haven't heard from Dusk or any other leaker. So I'm gonna go through this stuff with you guys because potentially we found a new leaker in the RE world currently, and I'm gonna try and keep my eyes on this going forward and to see if we do get some new stuff. But I'm gonna go through some of the stuff I found and some of the obvious supposed leaks that this person has posted, and I'm gonna talk about it. So yeah, remember to like and subscribe, and I'm gonna go through this. So first up, we have, this is from the forum Biohazard Ultimate on Facebook. Now this forum apparently has been banned, it's been closed, and they've got a new forum now, I believe, called Team Biohazard. But this was one of the last things I saw before I went over to that one, and this is what the person said. Claire Redfield will be present in the story to accompany Leon through some stages of the game. And that's it, they didn't delve any further. And I went back to the new forum and I started reading the stuff they posted on there. But they haven't mentioned any of the Claire stuff, but this is the only time they did. So I'm a bit weirded out because I saw this, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because at the same time, I don't think this is the first time I heard that Claire was going to be in this game. I've heard from somewhere else. I don't know if this was actually from this or not, but like I said, it was very random when I came across this. I wasn't even looking for it. Just like normal day on the phone, and then I see this. It's like, okay, let me see what this is. But yeah, I'm going to go through the other posts that he's posted. But yeah, Claire Redfield. If you guys saw my previous video regarding the Requiem gun, this was one of the reasons why I was sort of like, wait a minute, is it possible that this is related to Claire? Because I saw this post afterwards and I was like, wait a minute. And then I went back and redid the video because my first video had problems with the audio. I keep forgetting to take the headphones out. So I thought, okay, let me redo it, but with this information in mind. So this is one of the cases where I'm like, wait a minute, it could be Claire. Is Claire actually in RE9? And does Claire potentially get hurt or die, perhaps? And the Requiem gun belonged to her, maybe. Maybe I'm right. Maybe Barry did design it for her and he gave it to her and then something happened to her. Like, I don't know. I'm in the copium part because, like, if Claire's involved in this game in some shape or form, and Barry is as well in some shape or form, just sort of in the background, my hope is that Alex Wesker is involved in some shape and form in this game. Do you know? Like, that's the copium. Like, a lot of people want Jill. I want Jill as well. But honestly, the character that I want to see the most is Alex Wesker. I want to see Natalia and Alex Wesker in this. So hearing like Claire is involved and seeing Leon with basically a magnum with a freaking angel wing or whatever on it, like it made me think, wait a minute, is it possible? Is it possible that I don't know, like, but let's go through this other stuff that they're talking about. Let's forget about this for now and let's go through the other stuff they're talking about. So this was on their new stuff, Team Biohazard. So I started going through it, and this is the stuff they posted. So this apparently yesterday one. So I think this was like, on the 20th, I think, when I saw this. For those people who keep asking me about a possible Resident Evil 5 remake, I'll say it again. Currently, there is no Resident Evil 5 remake projects in development. I don't work for Capcom, I agree, but I am in contact with people very close to me who provide me with the license information all the time. I don't think I'll have to prove myself on this since Biohazard Ultimate was created. The only projects currently under development are 2 solo narrative DLCs for Resident Evil Requiem, Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake for 2027, Resident Evil 0 Remake for 2028. There is also a project that will be a continuation of Requiem, which will be available around 2030-2031, codenamed Project Red Life. So this is kind of insane. If this dude is legit, and I went through the Biohazard Ultimate stuff, and it seemed like this guy was literally like, I don't know if he's on the money, but like he's saying it straight up here. I don't work for Capcom, etc. I think at one point he says he works for PlayStation France. Don't know about that. I think it's in there, so I will talk about it when I get to it. But this is the first time I'm hearing someone else say something new that Dusk and other leakers have not mentioned. In this case, Andy and Spooky Who, for example. This is the first time I'm hearing that there might be a sequel project to Requiem, which is going to be called Project Red Life. So does this mean that Resident Evil 10 is this Project Red Life, and that's what it is? Because, but then again, they're saying 2031. We know potentially that RE10 is coming out in 2029, maybe. But what if it's this project, Red Life? I'm Red Life. Immediately, I'm thinking of Redfield. So, is this tied to Chris, perhaps? I don't know. But let's go through the other stuff. So I think this is a continuation. I understand Resident Evil 4 Remake ending clearly opens a path to Resident Evil 5 Remake. However, it should not be forgotten that since 2023, a lot of things have changed. Postponing Requiem multiple times, several official Capcom polls that were in favor of Code Veronica. There was a time in 2024, a discussion about RE4 Remake that I mentioned on the page. However, RE5, sorry. However, this project has been put off for two reasons. The first was the problem of racism, and the second was that no one in Capcom's senior officials wanted to take charge of this project. I'm not saying there will ever be an RE5 remake or even an RE6 remake. I generally think they'll happen one day, but for now, Capcom is focusing on fans want most, finishing the story they started in 1996 with Umbrella. I can now even confirm that Winter's story is not completely finished and that the Village DLC ending will be resumed later to bring a true ending to Ethan's adventures and more specifically Rose. However, in my opinion, we will have to wait many more years to see this happen, but the demand for this is strong. So first up, I'm gonna call bullshit on this. The ending to RE4 Remake hinting at RE5 was never a tease to RE5. It was simply Capcom having the chance to create an ending that properly dives and goes into RE5, if that makes sense. Because the original ending for RE4 didn't really set RE5 up. It was more its own sort of thing. But with RE4 Remake, knowing where they had to go, they had a better grasp of the story going ahead forward and being able to set that up better instead of just writing it in archives or doing that whole separate ways thing in the original game with Company S and that, etc, etc. The ending of RE4 Remake was never a hint at RE5 Remake. It was simply a better ending for RE4 to set up what's to come next. That's what it was, simple as that. And as for the whole, the project's been put off for two reasons, racism and because no one wants to do it. I don't know, I've heard this before. I think Andy from Screamfire, when they translated his stuff, he even said that at one point this was something that was an issue with Capcom as well. They didn't want to do it because of racism. But I call bullshit on this, I think. I don't know. I mean, in this current climate, in this current day and age of the industry, the modern audience, if you will, people get easily upset. So I don't know. Maybe that is a reason. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something to do specifically with Capcom USA, because I don't think Capcom Japan actually gives a shit. They will do, if they see a good profit or a good reason to remake a game, they will do it. But I think also it's just a case of, the polls did say, I remember when the polls came out, there was a whole survey poll of, Capcom asking people what they wanted next, and Code Veronica was at the top, as was Dino Crisis Remake as well. So, RE5 I kind of was sort of second fiddle or in the middle of that list. But I also see it as a case of, Capcom are playing this smart. They want to do a better job of setting up RE5, so they're gonna have to do Code Veronica and RE0 next. And plus, again, I've said this before, it's all about survival horror. They're going back to their roots and they want to deliver on that. So it just makes more sense. They want to try and spend as much time as they can on the survival horror, the zombies, Umbrella and Raccoon City stuff, before they go back to the whole action era of the series. RE2 Remake and RE4 Remake, where sort of they're these are the RE games we 100% have to remake, and they have to be good to great, etc, etc. Those were the key games they wanted to do. The rest, however, are, in my opinion, a case of, okay, we've done those, now we can sit back and relax, and if we want, we can remake these games, and if we really want to, we can do a better job of remaking RE5 by setting it up better with these games, and at the same time, we can focus on doing survival horror games, we'll go back into the action era, etc, etc. It's that mindset. That's what I think is going on anyway. The whole thing with the Winter's DLC and them going back, I'm assuming they will go back to Rose, but not anytime soon. Like, we'll probably be waiting on that until like the year 2037 in real time. So the same way they didn't bring back Sherry after many years until like real time, they'll probably do the same case with Rose. They'll probably wait until we get to that point where it's like, okay, now we can dive back into that maybe. So yeah. So this was from January 18. Again, same person. Plans for Capcom haven't changed. As I've been announcing from 2024 on Biohazard Ultimate, Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake will be the opus of 2027, which will be announced later this year along with Requiem's first DLC, most likely at Summer Game Fest or a later communication. Resident Evil 0 Remake will be the 2028 opus, which will be announced in the course of 2027, a few months after the release of Code Veronica Remake, and will most likely follow the same method of communication as Code Veronica. Currently, in 2029, there will be no RE release to make room for an unprecedented opus in 2013 that will open the march on the end of Requiem events, and more specifically the 2 DLCs under development. The rumors about Resident Evil 5 Remake are completely false. Not saying there will never be a remake, I do not work directly for Capcom, as I've said many times. There are projects I'm not aware of, but the planning will remain the same. So if we actually were to have a remake of 5 or 6, it wouldn't be announced until at least 2031, 2032. Yeah, I think that's the most likely outcome here personally, but at the same time, I do think if the annual meeting stuff is true, which I think at this point it is because both Dusk and Spooky have said it, then RE5 remake will likely go in development or into pre-production, you know, after that meeting in 2027. So maybe 2028, and then 2029 or 2030 we're gonna get RE10. That's what I think, and then we'll get RE1 remake as well, and then yeah, RE5 will probably be in 2033 or 34 most likely, I think, at this point. For the people, so this next one is January 30th. This was a week, I think, before that. For the people who ask me a ton of questions in private message or comment, just know there are some things I know and some I don't. I know some things I've mentioned before that have turned out to be true, and others that are still pending. Yeah, I went through this dude's stuff and on his other site, on his other forum, and he was pretty much adamant that Leon was going to be in this game, and he had a lot of people not believing him, and then it turned out to be true. So yeah, I can reaffirm that Requiem will also be released on PlayStation 4. Not sure when this one will be revealed though. It can be January 15th, like it could be in the state of play. I don't work for Capcom, so my data is limited on time. I've restricted some activities for the benefit of others, working on PlayStation France now for a while. Certainly it's not a full-time deal, but it could prove to be the case in the near future. So this guy's straight up telling us what he's working on, where he's working on now. So I do, however, keep contacts and activities independent, but which are now a bit more limited than a few months ago. So in all honesty, currently, I don't know what will be presented at RE Showcase on January 15th other than Leon's gameplay. Anyway, I guarantee Requiem will be released on PS4 as it was on Switch 2 during Requiem presentation at Summer Game Fest, where many called me a liar, okay? And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got from this dude. But yeah, this is so far the only time I'm hearing mention of there being 2 DLCs planned for RE9, and that the story is going to continue in the years to follow, I guess with RE10 maybe. So I don't know. And also, he's the only one saying that Claire's going to be in this. I haven't seen Dusk or Spooky, who I think mentioned this. So yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd point that out. I thought I'd talk about that because this is huge. If this dude is on the money, right? This is huge, and it just makes me very curious. Now I kind of want to see what the other leakers have to say about this. I want to see what Andy, Dusk, or even Spooky who have to say about this. Like, could this be possible? Is Claire actually in this game? And I know we're getting DLC. I think this is a fact. We're 100% getting DLC for RE9, and I did say we'll most likely get multiple DLC, but this dude's saying we're getting 2. So I'm assuming one of them is maybe an Alyssa DLC, and the other one will likely be, well, whatever character that's secretly in this that we haven't seen yet. Is it Ada? Is it actually Claire? I'm hoping for Ada or Joe. That's what I'm hoping for. But you know, if Claire is involved in this story in some shape or form, I'm crossing my fingers for an Alex Wesker / Natalia appearance. That's what I want most. Like, out of all the loose ends I want to see like completed and done, I want to see that loose end done. So I'm crossing my fingers for that. Like, I'm hoping for that. But you know, just because if Claire is in it doesn't necessarily mean it will be tied to that, unfortunately. So you know, because like Barry is tied to that specifically, I feel like. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, I thought I'd point this out just in case. We'll see if this dude's on the money or not in the months to come. But for now, just, you know, remember to take all of this with a huge grain of salt. Anyway, I hope you like this. As always, remember to like and subscribe, please. And I shall see you when I shall see you. Take care and bye.